5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Talking Contradiction.
All right. Well, here we go. Let's see. I will leave it on. I know what we can do in the future. I will leave it on here so I can see what the hell's going on, which I can get audio from there. That would be recording me only. But Mr. Microsoft Bill Gates will get the whole podcast in the cloud, and we'll see what the quality is like.
Well, I work for them a lot. You want me to say something?
Yeah, I think you should. There's a lot you should say to him, actually.
Okay.
Probably after you say it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no. He's probably listening right now. Cut to Bill Gates, like just making a really upset face.
He's gonna be like, that guy that works on the stage.
The guy who works for Xbox. He's not gonna do that anymore.
Yeah, let's make that happen. Actually, I don't know if I should say this. How do I say this? I'll change everything about it, and then I'll tell you the real story.
Okay.
So a friend of mine calls me, and he says, there's this billionaire guy who my friend is an artist. And he said, I have a one of my friends is an artist as well, but he's also a landscaper and an architect. And he is redoing a billionaire's house. And the billionaire ordered some blocks of a certain color, and they were custom. And so the $140,000 worth of blocks show up, and they're the wrong color. And so Mr. Billionaire says, those are the wrong color. Throw them away. Bring me the right color. So $140,000 worth of like cinder blocks, basically colored cinder blocks, are thrown in the trash, and a reorder. And this is a person who this is one of those kind of like green billionaires, you know what I mean? But they get on a private jet every day, sort of thing.
That's funny because you just reminded me. What was that? There was some kind of Washington hearing a couple of years ago where it might have been the airline guys. I can't remember who it was, but they all flew to Washington in private jets. And I think it might have been about being green or about saving. Maybe it was about the airlines being bailed out. I think that's what it was. I think it was the airline CEOs were trying to be bailed out because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And all those fuckers flew in private jets to the hearing.
Yeah, well,
But I love the Echo guy. $140,000 worth of cinder blocks.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And it wasn't even like maybe we can reuse them, or maybe we can donate them to charity, or maybe we can build a home, I don't know.
Give them to Jimmy Carter and have him build a couple of Habitats for Humanity.
Yeah, why not? I mean, he's a humanitarian for sure.
Yeah. I want you to notice.
What's that?
No logo on my hat.
I see. I have.
That's because this space is available for rent.
Oh, wow. We're starting all right.
Yeah,
well, we better turn it on, baby.
I'm just saying.
Sponsors, be aware.
Chico's bail bonds, maybe. Whatever.
Shit. We should just put that up there just to fake it. That's awesome.
Yeah, no.
Are you drinking a beer?
No, not yet. I'm waiting for April 5th.
Okay, just checking. Okay,
April
just checking.
5th. And I'm covering the logo on that because if you want me to drink on camera, you're gonna have to pay for it.
You got to pay, baby. That's right.
Sorry. All right. Let's talk.
Yeah. Well,
first of all, go ahead. No, you go.
Well, the first thing I want to ask about is your background here, because this is the first time I've seen this background. So who is that in the back? Is that Che or?
Well, first of all, for me, I need to be as professional as you. So I'm going to put a mic here. Not plugged in. So
I'm
now
pretty sure based on your audio, people are going to know you're not using
you
a
know
mic.
what? Hey guys, can I get this on the other side? Because it's blocking the picture that Derek's talking about.
That's
There we
hilarious.
go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
perfect. Yeah.
Wait, force perspective. How big is this mic?
It's is it big, you think?
Anyway, so that's Zach from Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's a painting or a screen of a local LA artist who I'm actually going to look up right now. Who's fantastic. Oh God, what the hell is his name? You know what? I'm gonna have to look it up later.
Yeah.
Because great artist, does a lot of Latin themed work, and he's friends with Zach. That's actually signed by him. You can't see it, but as you know, I'm a huge Rage Against the Machine fan. Huge.
Yeah, I did. Give me what's their most popular song that us?
It's All About the Bass. No, I'm sorry, that's Megan Trainor. That's my bad. I always get them confused.
Yeah, they're pretty similar, those two, actually.
Their first and probably biggest hit that people talk about is "Killing in the Name of," and it's known. It was brought back a few years ago because. Are you familiar? In England, they vote every year for the Christmas song of the year. Like, it's a big thing.
Oh yeah, it was in a movie, I think.
Love Actually.
Love Actually, one of my favorite movies, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, we're definitely gonna come back to that because I have so many problems with Love Actually.
Do you really?
So many.
We had a whole discussion about rom-coms a while back. You love them.
Rom-coms.
This is one of the better ones. Come on.
Okay. We're gonna jump back on this, but so maybe 10 years ago, maybe even longer. I'm so old, like time flies like that. This couple in England decided to try to make Killing in the Name of the Christmas song because they were sick of the whole Christmas bullshit, how those songs were picked, and it won.
I dig it.
And
I love that.
It's a great song. Have you ever there's a bunch of videos on YouTube. I don't know, is it called the YouTube? There's a bunch of videos on the YouTube. I'm just gonna say everything is the. And they show black dudes listening to Rage Against the Machine for the first time and reacting on camera to it.
Okay. On YouTube, yes. Are they the younger kids?
I would think they're in their 20s.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, compared to us, those are younger kids.
Everyone's younger kids compared to me, but compared to you.
What do you mean? You're like 2 years older than me. Come on.
Yeah, but inside I'm a million years older. But let's go back to Love Actually. Okay.
Yeah, let's do. Now, I don't remember just to clarify. My memory is based on feeling. Okay. Which is kind of a funny thing. In other words, I don't necessarily remember details of things. Like I pay attention to details in the moment, but the feeling of the movie itself, like I don't remember the plot or even the characters. Was let's see, was Keira Knightley in that movie?
Yes, and no, I totally get it, and I like that. I do. I'm for better for worse. I was just about to word it saying I'm really good at trivia, and that's stupid to say, but I remember a lot of stupid little details. But I dig the vibe, and you just reminded me when I saw Love Actually in the theater, because that's how old I am. I was in. I think. Can we look it up? Because I'm pretty sure it might have been like maybe it might be the first holiday that I was clean and sober.
Oh, wow.
So that I'm pretty sure that movie is 20.
It's got to be close to that.
Well, it's definitely because they just had an anniversary special on ABC.
2003, 20 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. This is hilarious. So that's the first holiday I was clean and sober.
Oh, what? Holy shit.
So I
Makes sense.
was not in a good place watching that movie. I was,
Whoa.
single, still am. And just that, you ever see a movie like when you're in a bad mood and then you just hate the movie? Yeah,
No, sorry.
well,
It's not my
no,
personality.
I know it, dude. It happened to me twice that I know of. Love Actually and
Okay.
Heat.
What?
Like
It could
I hated.
Heat couldn't shake you out of your bad mood?
I was in a bad mood because of the people in the theater. Like it took me out because like there was like this row of bros in front of me. And by bros, I mean like jocks. So please send your cards and letters to Derek.
Wow. So first of all, I should be taking notes. I need to get my pen. So
Yeah.
we have a little bit of an issue with jocks. And if I remember, we played basketball a few times. You're not a non-athlete. Like
Oh
you're an
no,
athlete.
I was a jock in high school.
Yeah.
I went to a very small school, granted, but I played all the sports.
There's 10 people in my school.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. But anyway, so Love Actually, one of the main storylines is the Keira Knightley character gets married, and we find out that the groom's best friend is in love with her.
The fact that you know this, like you
And
know it.
the groom's best friend, by the way, played by, I don't know his real name, but he's Rick from The Walking Dead, and I hate that I don't know his real name. Anyway,
we can look at that. We can look his name up so you can.
the famous scene where he's holding up the cards, and he's got the radio and he's holding up the cards because there's this awkwardness because he loves her and she's like, oh, but I'm married, this and that. And how is that a it's just not a pro holiday movie where the guy is literally trying to steal his best friend's girl, but decides, okay, I'll still be in love with you for a while until I find someone else.
Huh.
I'm just not a huge fan of it. And
wait, was this? Go ahead. So go ahead.
No, but and it was also when the little boy is running through the airport. I'm sorry, this is after 9/11. This is not appropriate. This is you got. Oh, anyway, I do love it. It's not one of my favorite rom-coms. But great cast. I can't believe I thought you didn't like. No, you don't like musicals.
No, I don't like rom-coms either because most of them are terrible.
But it gave you this.
I like actually. Let's, as they say in New York, pause. I do like rom-coms, but they're so bad, they're so terribly done that the idea of having to watch one and hoping, I'm hoping that it's going to be good, but I end up wasting 2 hours. So I just don't watch them. They're all bad.
What's your favorite rom-com?
That's probably my favorite. That's the only one I can think of.
Well, and then that's like knocking 2 right there. Your favorite rom-com and probably your favorite holiday movie.
Wait, what's the one with Hugh Grant and
Hugh Grant is in Love Actually.
Yeah, what's the one with him and Julia Roberts?
Oh my God. You've just said my favorite, Notting
Hill. Yeah, that's my favorite. Maybe second favorite.
Hey, I'm just a girl standing in front of a bull, asking him to love her.
Oh my God. Wow.
I love fucking Notting Hill.
See? Wow. Who knew?
And here's the thing. I'm not a huge Julia Roberts fan, and I'm not a huge Hugh Grant fan, but I love that movie. That's how good that movie is, in my opinion.
See, I don't. Okay, well, you know what? It would be great to. I don't know the words. I wish they would come to me faster, but qualify like that statement of she's not her not being you're not a big fan of hers and his. What I mean by qualify that is who are you a big fan of in terms of actress, actor? And that way we can make some comparison as the audience.
Well, that's fair. I guess I should have worded it this
because I feel the same way is why I'm saying that.
I am not. Well, one, I mean, life is so different now as far as movies. Like, I can't. Well, besides my physical reason for not being able to go to movies, but like, does anyone go to the movies anymore? Like, but let's just say this is pre-pandemic and everyone's still going to movies and all this.
Yeah.
I was never a person in my whole life who went, oh, so and so is starring in a movie, I need to go see that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I was never that way either.
and whether it be Tom Cruise or, it was never about the, I mean, the actor, sure. Oh, if I like that person and I was interested in the movie, that's one thing. But I was never like, oh my God, the new whatever is out, let's go see it. But
I think that's because of
like,
living in LA.
yeah, that's true. And probably being in the business.
Yeah.
I couldn't, honestly, I couldn't tell you who I'm like, I guess I base it on a movie to movie basis,
Well, what do you think is the single best? No, that's a hard question, but what stands out to you as like an incredible male performance in a movie?
Well, I mean, Al Pacino in Godfather
Okay.
as
Totally.
Michael Corleone.
Is that your favorite movie? That's my favorite movie.
Uh,
Al Pacino. Al Pacino starring in.
I mean, are we talking like a desert island thing? Like if you can only have one movie type thing?
If that's your qualifier, Raf, sure. I mean,
who could really argue about Godfather?
Dude, it's, you know what? Listen, so my wife's never seen The Godfather, nor have my daughter either. So eventually we're gonna do like this whole thing because I have the box set DVD. But one day I have a men's clothing store and it has a TV screen in it. It has a bar and a TV screen in the bar. Have you been here? Oh yeah, you have been here. Yeah.
We recorded once there.
Yeah. So I was sometimes one of the movies that I would put on the screen was The Godfather. And so I'm standing behind the bar. My wife is talking to me on the other side of the bar, and the wedding scene of The Godfather is on the television behind me. And she goes, What is that? Like, is that somebody's wedding? Oh my God, it's beautiful. And so then she realizes that it's a movie. But the point is that the movie is so good, and they did such a good job of transporting you into first of all, that wedding, and then that era, that she's watching this thing on the screen and she's transported into that time for that moment, which that doesn't happen with movies, you know what I mean?
No.
Very often.
No, and I mean that's pretty amazing. And it's funny because they actually, going back, because we're talking about movies, the rom-com, The Godfather comes up a lot, and You've Got Mail. They reference The Godfather when they're emailing with each other. And I don't
really
know, but
wow,
you told me, like you said that your wife and her daughter have seen The Godfather, and I never thought about it. But is that a dude movie?
it
You know
is
what I mean?
totally.
Like, but not to be misogynistic, because I hate the term chick flick, because it's like, what, I can't be romantic. I can't be whisked away by Hugh Jackman. What about me? What about my feelings?
Apparently you can.
And I have often. No, but that's interesting.
That's actually a good point. I briefly thought about that same idea a long time ago. It is whether or not, only from the perspective of like what's wrong with you, like what, like as the guy, like sometimes you want to be more sensitive and like things that are less kind of violent and harsh and masculine, right? And so in thinking about that, I was thinking about the fact that The Godfather is my one of my favorite, probably my favorite movie. And there is not really very many concepts in the movie that would attract women,
I would totally. I've never even thought about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, definitely. And it's not. And let's think about this. It's not necessarily like, it's not us as far as like, because my point, Godfather is the number one movie on many lists of credible, quote unquote, AFI, that kind of shit.
Right.
Or
Is it
Godfather.
really interesting?
Oh,
Okay.
if it's not number one on most of these, once again, these credible lists, it's in the top 3 of all of them.
Right.
But let's think about it. This is a very male-centric movie.
Yeah.
I would love to, when we have female guests, if we circle back to this and ask them, if God, if is maybe not even lead it, but just, can you give us your top 5 favorite movies? And I'm sure Godfather does not come up a lot.
Not going to be on their list.
No,
sure.
but is that's just weird. But you said something that's interesting about wanting to be like more emotional things or be more in touch.
Yeah.
Is that what you
yeah.
Why is it when people get emotional, whether it's on an interview or just in a conversation, and they always, most of the time, 90-something% of the time, if they start tearing up, they will say, "I'm sorry."
Huh. I've heard this before. Yeah.
What?
Why? I don't remember the explanation.
Well, I mean, I've thought about this a lot because I'm a crier. I cry.
Really?
All the time.
Oh, baby, we got some work to do.
No, I went 7 years in my childhood without crying. And then after that, I was crying for 20-something years because of, usually when I was knee deep, drunk or coked out.
Right.
And then I was crying because I was clean, and but no, I'm a big crier for happy.
Wait a minute. So 7 years, you calculated the amount of time that you were, my camera's up here, so I have to, otherwise I'm looking down at you. You calculated the amount of time that you didn't cry. So there was a specific time where you said, I'm not going to cry. And then you decided to cry again.
From the age of 9 to the age of 16.
Really?
Yeah.
So, and would we like to unpack that right here on the podcast? Or we want to talk about this
another time?
Yes, another time. I figured.
No, I mean, I'm open to it, but we
will.
No,
I know. Yes.
But no, it was a conscious thing. I was not in the happiest of situations at home. But
7 years a non-crier.
Yeah, but it was just, I mean, going back to, it is tied in. It's like we especially us older guys, and but I see it on interviews all the time. It's still with younger people. We are as definitely as an American society. I can't speak for anywhere else in the world because I'm based here. We are trained to apologize for showing when you cry, when you show that emotion. You don't say, "I'm sorry" when you're yelling. Maybe later on in the day, or maybe later on in the evening after you fight. But we as a society are not trained to, if we get angry, if we get passive aggressive, if we get anything except for tears.
Yeah.
We cry. Watch, next time you see an interview and somebody says, "I'm sorry," "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We've been trained subconsciously and even consciously to apologize for showing that emotion of tears. Don't cry. They say it to kids all the time. Don't cry. Don't cry. Huh. Don't cry. You're a baby. Did you cry? I remember as kids, that was the thing. Did you cry? Yeah, we have been trained to associate tears with negative and to literally apologize for it when it happens. But the more we do these, I'm sure I'm going to tear up eventually, and I'm not going to say sorry.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I'm not a big crier, but even if I did cry, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't apologize.
And you know why you're not a crier? Because you don't like musicals.
That's probably true, and I don't like musicals.
Yeah.
In fact, that would be one way to get me to cry.
Oh no, I don't want to see another musical.
10 in a row.
Not,
No.
not
That's
seven brides for seven brothers.
that would be, oh my
Oh,
God.
which how come black people have not remade that one?
It's coming.
I mean,
Let me talk to the coalition. Hey guys.
yeah. Wasn't it? Remember that phase about 5 years ago? Well, thank God that black people were working in front of the camera, but they were remaking all these shitty fucking 80s and 90s movies. Like,
yeah,
like what the fuck?
I attribute that. I mean, I think that's the industry across the board. I attribute it to. I used to say to my producer friend, it's because first of all, the people in the industry are now younger and they don't read, and so you know what I mean. And also the other thing is the protectionist perspective, where they want to make something that they know is going to work because they want to keep their job.
Well, it's just the next level of, when people make a movie out of a TV show.
Yeah.
And people were like screaming, "Oh, are there no more original ideas?" Well, one, there are very few. But now, if you're going to make it a black cast or a Latin cast or an Asian cast, you can remake movies. You don't even have to go to a TV show.
Right.
You could go straight up, what was it? Oh shit, what was that one? Rob Lowe, It Happened One Night. Was that what it was? And they remade it with. Anyway, there was a few.
I've never seen one movie by Rob Lowe.
Not even that porn. He was the original guy who got busted with porn. Or
never, not one movie. Nothing.
Yeah, it was a little grainy. The script was.
Although
weak.
I saw the Pamela Anderson one at your house.
My God, we will get into.
Which I think is funny. I just remember that right now.
Oh my God!
I haven't seen the. Have you seen the new?
But movies. Let's talk a topic that we were going to bring up. I told you I would look up a stat.
Okay.
So, well, I mean, we should tee it up, right? So, Oscars were just this weekend.
Didn't watch it.
This past weekend, 2023. Big year for the Asian community.
Really?
According to everything I'm reading, and I'm not.
Did you watch it?
The movie or the Oscars?
Oscars.
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've worked those red carpets for so long. Like, I haven't seen an Oscar show in 20 something years.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Well, because I mean, honestly, usually you're just finished working and you're either driving home or hanging out with the crew, partying somewhere by, at the Roosevelt Hotel or whatever. But I haven't seen an Oscar in a while, but I've seen the highlights now Oscars. I read this article. I think it was the New Yorker, I can't remember, but they basically were saying that we're not even looking now about the artist, like, oh, this movie, when the nominees come out, nobody's going, oh, this movie was so artistic or this was so different. It's all about inclusion. That's the first thing we look at now.
Yeah.
It's not about. It's almost not even about who got nominated, or I'm sorry, it is about who got nominated, especially if they're not white.
Yeah.
And it's about who didn't get nominated that's not white.
Yeah.
It's
the fact that they are focused on things that are not relevant to art.
Yeah, but also on the other side of that, and over the last, I mean, I was going to say like the last 10 years, but it's been forever since Hattie McDaniel won the first Oscar by a black person, and she was at a segregated table. Wow. Okay, that's like when she won for Gone with the Wind, they weren't even allowed to sit together.
Right.
Point, and she gave it. I don't know if you've ever heard the speech. It's beautiful. She mentions, I hope I'm a credit to my race, or I'm not sure if she said race or my people, but I think she said race. But anyway, the point being is, and I'm a Mexican, as you know. I'm just telling everyone else.
Nobody's gonna know because
I'm first I'm well, you can't tell because of this light. Hold on. Okay, so I'm Mexican. That didn't really
That didn't work either. Just
no.
but
but the point is that when people flip out about that the Oscars aren't inclusive, I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry, Derek, that I cussed.
that's okay.
You can beep it out later, but
beep.
Listen, and this is actually a little bit of a contradiction. I know you and I have talked about this before, but I'll get into it. So when I grew up, and I grew up in the business, I specifically remember as a kid, the only Mexicans I saw on sets were the ones I was working with in the catering truck.
Right.
I mean, on Christmas vacation, before anyone flips out, on Christmas and summer vacation, I would work for my father on
I was going to say, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And we were, 90% Mexican, in that area. I don't remember. I'm sure there were a few, but then when I went to the other side of the catering line, where I was actually then being served, and what I do, I see more and more Latinos, right? I see more and more Black people, which is great. All that matters is people working. But the Oscars is a private organization that was established by the 4 major studios back in, I don't know the exact time, 20s, 30s, whenever the first ones were. Basically to congratulate themselves about the work they're doing and bring more attention to themselves. And that's all it is. There was no merit to it whatsoever. The Oscars has always been a popularity contest within their own club, which is great. Then it was like, oh, wait, if movies win Oscars, people will go see them. Then it became more of a competition, still not necessarily about the art.
Right.
So when a minority group feels that they need to protest that this private club is not including us enough, I think that's bullshit. I think that's the equivalent of white people saying that they need to be nominated for a BET award, or or whatever I think they're called. What is the Latino version called? Shit. You'd think I'd know, but I don't care. But the point being is, it doesn't matter for people. There's going to be a little bit. It matters for that actor, but it matters for that actor no matter what race you are. That's it. It's not helping the people. There is part of me that understands, like when I was a little kid, the only time I saw someone who looked like me on television was twice. It was Freddie Prinze on Chico and the Man, and Eric Estrada on Chips.
Wow. Now, okay, so pause for a second. Just pause. Remember that thought. Sorry to cut you off. How do you remember that? Why do you remember that? I don't remember any sort of things like that in my life. Why do you?
I mean, it wasn't like this. I just, like I sat there and I went, "Oh, there's someone like me." Okay. No, you know what, is because Freddie Prinze's character in Chico and the Man would actually, do a little thing, hey, and I was like, oh shit, that sounds like my cousin. That sounds like my uncle. Or they might drop a little Spanglish before the term was even, out there. And Eric Estrada, you could tell. I mean, he was tan. What was funny is working with Eric Estrada had to learn Spanish later. Eric Estrada didn't speak Spanish. And I actually have a picture somewhere with him. He was a guest on a show. And I mean, listen, there was something about it. And I was like, okay, cool. It didn't change my fucking life. Now,
right.
If there's a politician or a doctor or lawyer or whatever, I would think that has a little bit more impact. But when I see, and here's the stat. You ready? So between the years 2013 and 2018, a Mexican director won the Best Director Oscar 5 out of those 6 years.
Yeah.
Around 2018, they started pulling children away from immigrants at the border.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I think
Coincidence?
no, it was on
I,
purpose.
I think they're like, oh shit, now they're taking these jobs too. Like the only place we were safe, we were at the Oscars. And now they're taking that work too. But my point being is that it doesn't change anything in the real world.
True.
Just lose your shit about real world stuff. Lose your shit about that. Let me how many Black or Latino governors have there been in the state of California? Boom.
Yeah,
Lose your shit about that. Don't lose your shit that that somebody that Denzel didn't win or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I listen, my thoughts are about any of this stuff where people are outraged. I gave my kids a speech at the beginning of COVID because I had first of all I read this I don't know, research on how they found that there were so many. First of all, Russia, China, they all have like large organizations for propaganda that they use to kind of change the sentiments in America, right? By posting things on Instagram, posting things on Facebook. And they also found that there's a huge amount of posts on the internet that were fake. Basically, they, fake hate groups, fake support groups, bunch of like opinions online that were not actual real opinions. They were actually done by either some kind of psyop in America or something similar from other countries. So I said to my kids, when anytime you are watching something and you feel triggered by it, as soon as you start to feel that like emotion welling up in you, like they're starting to toy or pull on either your heartstrings or also make you angry, any of those things, you have to recognize that that feeling is happening in you, and you recognize that you're being manipulated. And once you know that you're being manipulated, then you're going to look at what the content that you're looking at and figure out why and what are they trying to, which direction are they trying to manipulate you in. So I think a large, so in other words, like just sort of take yourself out of the realm of being manipulated by any content or any media, right? And I think that what you just spoke about is another issue that just creates division within the community, whether it be for anything. The film industry, the music industry is just another sort of clan of people that are fighting against each other, all the while the powers that be are sort of raking in all the money on both sides. We're fighting to be recognized on the Oscars, but hey, who's making the most money from the movie that's put out?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but let me ask you, so when you talk to your kids, are you saying the same thing, like if they go to a movie? Are you talking about like
I didn't reference a
real
movie,
world stuff?
but I do talk to them about movies too. If I feel like there is a particular perspective in a movie that is, I think we all know what's right and wrong, you know, and I feel like if there's a skewed view in a movie, then I will talk to them about that view and say, listen, this is probably not the right way to think about this particular issue, and recognize that there's an intention in making you feel this way or swaying your perspective by this particular view. So just think about that before you decide to go down this road that all these other people are going down because this movie said so. An example would be, let me see how I clean this up. I have a friend of mine's, um, what, it's his aunt, but she's his age. You know, it's one of those things. So
yeah, no, I get it. I'm Mexican.
Yeah. So
Ah!
and she used to watch Sex in the City.
Okay.
And I realized after a while that she was sort of being promiscuous, you know? And when I say like sort of not really putting value on her relationships and on having sex with various men. And one day she said something and referenced Sex in the City, and I said to my friend, I said, "Listen, um, she's being sort of manipulated by this fake group of women on television that most of them I had never watched Sex in the City, but they live in nice apartments in New York, so I would imagine that most of them have their shit together in terms of finances. I don't know if that they all did.
Oh, yeah, just like the cast of Friends.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No, I see what you're saying, though.
You know what I mean? So
well, they were all, I believe they were all professionals, except
yeah.
maybe not Charlotte. I'm not sure about her. But
Which one was Charlotte? I don't. Is that the dark-haired one?
Dark-haired one, yes.
Okay. Which she was the most attractive one anyway.
But so you were saying, so you were feeling that the fact that this woman was a fan of Sex in the City had in a way not motivated, but made it more accessible to herself to be quote unquote promiscuous.
Yeah. And I want to clarify, I want to clean these statements up, especially nowadays with
Oh yeah, I know, I get what I get where you're gonna go with this.
Yeah. I don't care. You could sleep with 1,000 people as a woman and a man. You could sleep with 10,000. I don't care if you sleep with bats. I don't care. I really don't. I don't care who, like you sleep with men and women. I don't care about any of that. Like I really feel like people should be able to do what they want to do, especially living in this particular country. But that person was having difficulty in dealing with her own life because she was too confused by all of the relationships she was in. And what Oprah said something a long time ago. I don't know if you ever read her book, but I don't know if it was in her book, but anyway, she said that she would sort of just sleep around a lot, and she felt like every time she would sleep with someone, a little piece of her she would give a little piece of herself to that person, and it would be lost, and it's almost like a piece of self-esteem, if you will. And I don't, and I think for men and women, it's probably, I don't think it's equal, but I think there is something to be said about that. So you just have to be careful. And I think that person was going down the wrong avenue, believing that she wasn't a professional. She didn't have even a job at the time, and she was having difficulty in relationships. And if you're gonna live that dream on television, baby, you got to have the whole dream. You can't just live, the dream of sleeping around.
Right, because I get what you're saying. It's funny. You've heard the term "keeping up with the Joneses," right? Yeah, I'm whatever the history of that term is. I don't know. It would be actually now I'm sort of interested in it. Before, especially now with the internet, like before, you keeping up with the Joneses meant keeping up with whatever the success, the kids with the rich parents that you went to high school with, or the successful family on the block, who got the new car, and then or that guy had the new clothes, or that girl had the new clothes, whatever, keeping up like that. But now you've just made me think that, and I've just been naive to it, that there are now people are trying to keep up with Joneses who are fictional.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Who are fictional.
Yes. And let me go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
I was just going to say, I tried to bring this up in the other podcast that I do, because one of the guys is in the industry, and we were talking about a famed casting director. I don't remember her name, but she was a big time casting director that even came up with some concepts that are now used in the industry for casting people, like almost like a casting filter, if you will. But I was trying to get at in the podcast how her filter, her choice of actors for particular roles frames that particular idea of that person for a whole society.
Absolutely.
And that's a lot of power.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's a really, really, really good point. I mean,
because you know the industry, like you know the industry. Most people don't know the industry, right? So you know that, and I know it's not solely the casting director's responsibility, or they're not the final say for a particular person.
right, but
However,
they carry a lot of weight.
they do, and if they're not only if they carry weight, but they have a reputation, and they're also, what's the word? Not fully influential. Well, influential if they're able to convince the producers that
Oh,
this is the right decision.
oh, look at this. There's plenty of producers with less experience than like the top casting people who will just defer to them.
Yeah.
Because they'll be like, oh my God, this casting director really likes this person. Maybe I'm missing something. We should go with them because they have the history.
Yeah, man, that's the whole industry right there.
Man, but with the time going, because we started with this with the Oscar talk.
Yeah.
Now, whether I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, well, maybe it'll be socially relevant. Maybe it'll affect society in a positive way in 20 years or something like that, maybe 30, whatever. Listen, if you want to make a movie about your quote unquote group, whatever that may be, if you're, if you dress all in black, right? That's your thing. And there's not enough people dressing in black in films. And I believe we are underrepresented. The people who like to dress in all black and are not goth. We need to be represented.
Oh,
Then go make your fucking movie. Because you know what? We all have these.
Yeah, totally.
People are making movies on those more now. Then go fucking make it. Don't fucking bitch that someone else isn't making it. Go make it. And listen, Spike Lee had to do it. John Singleton had to do it. And I mean, we probably go even before that. It's just like, especially in film and television, where people think that they have a right to be represented. Now, if this is all privately funded.
Yeah.
Like if this was something like that the government was involved in funding, now we have a conversation.
Well, there's that happens too, but go ahead.
Oh yeah. But let's I mean, let's
I know that's for
look at the percentage of elected officials, look at the percentage of minorities and women, and I mean, please. No, but I'm just saying.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just
saying, maybe I'm in the, no pun intended, maybe I'm in the minority, but as a first generation, my parents were both undocumented. I'll use that term. And came to this country, got their papers eventually, citizens, blah 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 blah.
Very successful people. You might as well put that out there. Yeah, your dad built a
absolutely lived the ultimate.
Made more money than 95% of Americans, probably 97%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm blessed. Very blessed too. And then I grew up in the business because I grew up with the catering trucks and this and that, and this and that, and this and that. I just don't see how, Edward James Olmos being nominated for a fucking Oscar has helped my life.
Yeah.
Or,
It's I think it has to do with we have this in the Black community too. It's where we're looking for, I hate to say it, but we're looking for approval from the other side of the table. And you want to be a part of that club.
is it approval or inclusion?
I think it's well, you have to, well, you guys technically, weren't part of the, we'll call it slave class of America. So
well, there was a small thing, but it wasn't to the degree, and we're not going to get into that. You were dragged here on ships.
Yeah. So
we were just taken over by the Spaniard colonialists.
That's a whole other discussion.
Right. No. Listen, man. No, there is no competition there.
I mean, I'm not trying to compete, but basically what I'm saying is that I was trying to qualify the statement of you said inclusion, I said approval. There's a very structured process in slavery where they spent a lot of time ensuring that in the hierarchy that anything that slaves looked up to or Black people looked up to, the top of that class was always white. Like white was the pinnacle of what was the best thing to have. And in black culture, for a long time, including today, not so much as it was had permeated the culture years ago, but there's still this need for like approval, white approval, for lack of a better word, and that's hard to shake. I tell my wife, I have done in my life coming from the South, your personality, your characteristics. I use the sort of phrase or term. The fabric of you is woven, like those ideas, those feelings, those ideologies, are woven into who you are as a person, right? And the only way to get those to eliminate those is to unravel yourself, pull those things out, and then put yourself back together. And if you don't do that, the only way to do that is study history, number one, and also recognize like the human psyche, right? And so if you don't spend time like self-reflecting, understanding what you're motivated, but what motivated by, why you're motivated,
self-aware.
you never, and it's hard, it's hard, it's shameful, it's hurtful. Like you can't believe you have these thoughts. Luckily I did this when I was in my 20s, so it allowed for me to build the next 30 years into a completely different person. But most people don't do that, and so you find yourself sitting in a situation much like what you're talking about, where what you are looking for is like, you think, because I don't know, most the neighborhoods that we like, the most of the people that live in those neighborhoods look a certain way, that you're striving for that neighborhood and the approval of the people in that neighborhood. And that's not really what you want necessarily, but you think that's what you want because that's what's in the neighborhood. And that's also that's in the magazines, it's on the television, it's in the books, it's in the history books, the teachers are doing it. There's just so many things supporting that system that it's hard to get away from it.
No, I've never thought of it that way, and I completely
disagree.
No, I know. I'm sort of actually blown away that, I mean, in a sense, I mean, it'd be easy to say that, at least in the American society, it is all about approval. Since you were born, you go to school, hell, there's a grading system, right? A through F. I mean, but but talking based on what we're talking about sociologically from from the minority group standpoint, you're right. I totally agree with it. I never thought. I mean, listen, it's not 100% that, of course. And I know that's not what you're saying.
Yeah.
When people, it's funny now. Every time I'm going to hear the word inclusive, I'm going to think approval. But I don't think you're wrong here. I'm sort of actually blown away because I never really thought about it. Yeah. It's because it's not okay. Like, look, it's not these things that we're talking about. The Oscars, the Emmys, even the Grammys, even whatever, and whatever 1,000 other awards that I've done all the red carpets for, and whatever bullshit they are, right? The streamies. But we'll take one if we get it. No, but they're not based on anything but approval.
Yeah.
Like, let's take something that's not based on approval. The Olympics.
Yeah.
Let's take athletic competition. That's just flat out winner, loser. And I'm going to say the word loser. I'm not going to say non-winner. Okay. Sorry, kids.
I didn't even know that existed, but okay.
No, I don't know it does. I'm just thinking,
okay.
Everybody, everyone gets a fucking trophy. But because that is, I'm sort of blown away. I love it. I love it. You're right. And to a degree, even white people, that's why they want to win these awards. Like, look at one of the most famous Oscar speeches of all time, Sally Field. You like me. You really like me.
Yeah. And nobody wants to be left out of that club, baby.
Whether it's, elementary school, whether it's middle school, high school, or the Academy of Arts and Motion Picture Sciences.
It's so true.
Everybody wants to be, in that. That's really fascinating. It is about approval. My God.
Well, I do want to not clarify, but just tighten it up a little bit in terms of anything that I say, because you did mention this, that it's not 100%. Nothing that I say is an absolute, because this is a very, human beings are very dynamic. The situation is dynamic as well. It's ever changing. And there's, I don't know if you have ever heard of Pareto's law, but there's an 80-20 rule where, I don't want to go into the law, but there's going to be 20% of whatever, of any situation that's not going to be the mean. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, no. And I appreciate you. I know you're saying that for anyone who might be watching.
Yeah.
Because I know you, and I get that.
Yeah, I'll take the hits. I don't mind.
Oh no, I'll back you, because there are no absolutes.
Yeah.
What is it? The famous Ben Franklin, right? Death and taxes.
Yeah.
Those are the only absolutes. There's not one. All of fill in the blank are assholes. All of fill in blank are bleeding heart, liberals, whatever. There is no such thing. And that's another topic we'll get into, which is what the problem is that people are just, it's either this side or that side.
Well, but and then that's a manipulated thing as well.
Absolutely. You touched on it a little bit. You were talking about the I forgive me, but you talked about it when we were talking about the Oscar stuff, or
I probably interrupted you. I apologize.
No, you didn't. No, not at all. But it made me think when the George Floyd, when those protests started, right?
Yeah.
What, another Black person, or you can, if you want to expand and say minority, but I don't want to distract from the fact that it was another Black person.
Yeah.
Fucking gets murdered by the authorities, and protests start. I was with a white person,
okay,
and there's a reason for it.
Okay,
and I said to her, we're watching, and there was a protest on TV. This is right when they first started.
Okay.
And I saw that there was a couple different signs there, and it wasn't all about BLM. And it wasn't about just Floyd. And I can't remember, and I don't want to say what, but it was definitely, it was about another group, whatever it may be. And I said, that's not good. And she said, why not? That they have whatever that group's sign I saw there, they have a problem too. I go, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying is, if all the groups jump into this thing, it's going to dilute the message. And because every little piece, everyone's going to get their little piece, and all of them are just as important. But the whole point is that, divide and conquer.
Totally.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember? Oh my God. There was a protest in Los Angeles. It wasn't Floyd. I can't. Oh, I know. It was a Trump. It was when Trump ran in the first time.
Okay.
And there was a big march, pro-immigration march of some sort, and in the crowd there were Mexican flags. And I was like, this is, and I'm sorry that we live in a society now of optics.
Yeah.
And I said to someone, whoever I was with at the time, and I was like, that's not good. That's actually making the other side go, see, right there.
Yeah.
That's not, hey, I gotta, honestly, where'd it go? There's a Mexican flag lying around here. I'm not kidding. I think, give me 1 minute.
Wait a minute. There's no way you have a Mexican flag. Get out of here. Come on. Holy wow.
I'm not kidding.
Is that a polo?
Yeah. Mexican flag sitting right over there. So before anyone goes, oh, what a self-loathing Mexican, and but the point is like, that's what the establishment wants.
Yeah.
The establishment wants Blacks and browns and the Asian community and the gay community and the lesbian community and the trans community. They want all of us to start screaming and grabbing our little piece of the pie, because they still have over 51%. Yeah. Whatever way you break it up, they want that. They want us all. It's like prison, Derrec. Let me tell you about prison.
Oh, tell me. Do tell me.
The guards like that everything is set up in ethnic gangs, because as long as they fight each other,
right, they're not fighting the guards. That's
they're
perfect.
doing our work for us.
That's perfect. Geez, you know what? We need to tell the homies about this.
I'm just saying, if prison was like
that's a very good point, because that's simple. People can get it. It's also dangerous.
But that's the way it is with, honestly, it's not too far to stretch. That's the way it is with politics in this country. That's the way it is with the Oscars. Like right now, I promise you, there's a group of Black people in the industry that are pissed off that the Asians have taken the light right now.
Yeah.
There's a group of Latinos who are like, we didn't get anything. Yeah, well, you got 5 out of 6 years directing. Yeah, but that was a while ago. And that's directing. We need acting.
We need acting for sure. Well, in their defense, they won't see it again for like 30 years.
Oh no. No, they, it's like it's literally like the wheel of inclusion. All right, who's up this year?
Yes, exactly. Oh, damn, we need to do that. That is, we need to do that. We need to make a wheel of inclusion. This is great.
Ding.
Who are we including today? We should do that.
Biracial trans people. Send your cards and letters to Derrec.
No, send them to Raf. Send those cards and letters to Raf. Those I don't want.
Oh my God. But
I want to say something about what you just said regarding the Mexican flags, because I think this is important, and I've been wanting to. I guess I should just do it on this podcast, because I was going to do it on my own podcast, but I think I should at least bring it up. It's very likely that those people in that Trump crowd are or were what they called agent provocateurs. I'm not saying, again, it's not speaking in absolutes, but much like what I was talking about with the psyops that are performed in America and the propaganda organizations in in China, Russia, and various other places that they use to kind of change narratives and thought processes in America. America's doing its own provocations, if you will, right? And it's very likely that some of those Mexican flags were actually CIA, FBI, like agents, people, just for optics, because you mentioned optics, right? And so as soon as people see, like, oh, that person's, they got some pigment, and oh, wow, they have a Mexican flag. Oh, well, they kind of look like maybe they could probably be Latin. Wow. So it's okay to like Trump.
Well, this was an anti-Trump rally, but
okay.
But the point was that, and I don't even think it was anti-Trump. I think it was just pro-immigration.
Got it.
Because remember, build the wall, all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't remember that. That happened?
Yeah, no, well, don't worry about it. I took care of it. We could have used those cinder blocks you talked about. See, that's a callback in the industry.
Oh, I see. That's
no,
really good. You're pro at this.
I'm not. I didn't think about that. Wouldn't be surprised at all. If you go, to a smaller degree, what was it? Jesus and the Black Messiah? What?
Are you talking about that movie?
Yeah. What was? No, God damn it, that's not right, and we got to edit that out because that's disrespectful. But there was a photographer. Well, anyway, bottom line is,
Judas.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Judas?
Yeah, Judas and the Black. Did I say Jesus?
You did.
Potato. And I went
to we cleaned it up. It was a bit of a slip, guys. Judas and Jesus are not the same. Raf doesn't feel that they are.
Yeah.
He knows that Jesus was black. It's okay.
I do love that. I do. Oh, I do love that. No, man, it's like, well, but here, going back to the analogy, the prison thing.
Great analogy, by the way.
But have you ever been to a Raider game?
Yes, I have. Did we talk about this?
What did you see the Raiders? Did you go when they were in LA?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I'm a Raider fan. There's a Raider hat around here somewhere. I'm literally like, let's make a deal. Dude, if you have a Mexican flag and a Raider hat.
Dude, if you have a Raider soap, you would be the ultimate Raider fan.
Listen, nobody's going to say they're a Raider fan who isn't. So it's not,
That's true.
It's not really that good. But if you've ever been to a parking lot of a Raider game, especially back when it was in Oakland, you had the motorcycle gangs. It's the white people. You had the Mexican gangs and the Latino gangs. You had the black groups. And then you had groups who really weren't necessarily, I mean, I'm talking like they had their parts of the parking lot, but everyone got along for those 3 hours.
Right.
That they were like, there was just a truce everywhere.
Interesting.
And that struck fear into any other team's fans and the police.
Right.
Because when they're together, it's like I'll even put it in a lot, and I can only refer to Los Angeles in California in sports because that's who I am. Dodger Stadium. Yeah. There is no place in Los Angeles that is more in like basically the United Colors of Benetton, where everyone is getting along, than Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, because you've got every culture, every sexual orientation, every socioeconomic. You got the rich people and the poor people and the black people and the brown people, the white, and everyone's all fucking Dodgers. Till you get into the parking lot, and then we're back into like it's Los Angeles.
Chaos, man. It's rough.
If you could carry those feelings, then there'd be a problem for the other side. There'd be a fucking problem for the other side. So they want us to fight each other. My uncles were I had two uncles. My family on my mother's side, very poor. My father's side, very rich. That's how Mexico is. My mother and her family, they worked the fields. They were part of the United Farm Workers.
Wow.
My two uncles, they, for one period of time, there was some, the UFW was boycotting a couple fields, a couple growers, because they were trying to unionize. And the second biggest part at the second biggest minority group at the time that was working the fields were Filipinos, at least in central Northern California. So my uncles, for a little bit of a time, were goons for the UFW.
Wow.
The Filipinos were crossing the line, because there's always another group of people who are more desperate than your group. So as long as and I'm sure, and I'll tell you right now, I am sure that the farm owners were happy about that these two groups were fighting each other, because then it deflects the attention from the real problem.
Wow.
That's and we went from the Oscars to the farm fields of Northern California. That's what we.
Yes, exactly. There's so many things to so many avenues to go down.
Well, let me ask you, is it a do you feel there's that it's worth this fight that seems to happen every year now? Like, once again, we're not talking about movies anymore. We're talking about what races or sexual orientations are represented in this private group. How do you feel as a black man?
I don't even know what the question is there, but I will just
like do you feel that that's impactful? Because I'll tell you right now, I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something now. It's going to piss off a lot of people.
Okay.
It's going to piss off a lot of liberals. It's going to piss off a lot of black people. But I'm not doing it to rise. And this is one thing you and I haven't even talked about, which, I mean, when we talked about starting to do this, I will never say anything unless I clearly make sure everyone knows I'm joking. You get a rise out of people. I think a lot of people say stuff just to get the clicks and the conversation about themselves, who don't believe a word that they're saying. I'm not going to say who I think they are.
I'd say it's most of them, actually, which is
that's just not
kind of scary.
And maybe that's the recipe to success. It's just not who I am, and I'm not going to do that. I don't think Black Panther should have been nominated for an Academy Award. What? I know.
I think we should check the comments on that one.
Hold on. I just got a text. Go to hell. My mom just said Wakanda forever. I'm not even sure.
Dude, that's not even worth talking about. I mean, it's so ridiculous. The fact that, I mean, and
the CGI movie.
Yeah,
it's CGI. That's not. I'm sorry, but
that goes back to my original point.
Approval.
Yeah, and you take it however you get it.
Yeah. So no. But
And to be
What
fair,
what studio? Yeah, go ahead.
to be fair to, I just want to make sure because it seems like my sound is much lower than yours. Hold on a second, which is not good, which means I'm gonna have to edit.
Well, but I was probably at that point I was just a little louder.
No, I just haven't been paying attention. I like the movie Black Panther.
I'm not saying I like
No,
the
no,
movie.
no. I know you're not saying that, and I say that to. I didn't see the second one. I think there's two, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the second one.
The second one was nominated, or the first one?
First one was, I'm not
Okay.
sure about the movie, but the second one, but I know the costume designer won again, and she is the first Black person to win 2 Oscars.
Well, oh, wow. Well, now as far as costumes.
Oh, no, I'm talking film.
Okay, yeah,
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
Oh no, and listen, and both Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan were fantastic in the first one.
Yeah.
I did
But
not.
no, it was not an Oscar-worthy movie for sure.
Oh.
So let's just put it out there, and it shouldn't even be put in the category of Oscar. I mean, there'd have to be so many things tightened up in the movie for that to be.
And that's my point.
Yeah,
and that's, I think, both our points about the emphasis that is put on these Oscars and Emmys and stuff that will affect society.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I just don't know. I mean, let's if we could keep going, but I just want to go through a list that I wrote.
Hang on, because I can cut right here. Hang on, okay?
Okay.
I gotta go check something. I'll be right back.
See you later.
And that way I don't have to do any edits.
But that would have been funny. And another thing.
I have a cold for some reason after Mexico City.
Yeah, I had a cold for about 25 years. See, what I did there, folks, is it's a reference to my drug addiction back in the day. And
which we're gonna talk
very
about.
Special Raf turns 20 episode coming up.
Jeez, that's so great.
Proud
of you, man.
Thank you, brother. I really, man, you listen, not many people witnessed what you witnessed. Firecrackers coming into the room in the middle of the night and singing TLC's Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls.
No, that was my wife was like, she had a face like, what the hell?
Yeah, she's like, oh, we gotta move. All right, so these are
so what's his list? You gotta give me you gotta introduce the list.
Well, and listen, and I gotta stop. It's funny, you and I talked about this, like we can't not everything is about racism or racial, but I'm starting to think that everything is.
It's so funny. I was thinking about this midway through the podcast. I'm like, wait, we had a whole conversation the other day. It was like we didn't talk about race at all.
But did we? What did we?
No, we didn't. We didn't.
All right. Well, okay.
But I agree with you. It's so strange that it
the thing we didn't. Well, the dating profile one, but that's for another show.
Yeah.
I'm literally, dude. Oh my God, I really need to open up.
You're going down you got a list of topics. Oh, I have what was we had something I wrote
you wrote down a couple things. Oh, well, the Chris Rock special, but then that's going to get racial.
Okay, so Stacey Dash was a part of. There was also something about actors' opinions.
Oh, Stacey. Yeah. When I said I talked about Ava Longoria, that I said I owe her an apology because I always dismissed her because she's an actor, and we started talking about just because. Because of the profession you do, does that mean that your opinion means less? And I mean, I'm guilty of being I'm very much judged because of the fact that she was an actress. Yeah. And then when I saw a story on CBS Sunday.
Okay, so CBS Morning, sorry. You gotta give me a harder setup, because basically what you said in the call was that you did not believe that actors should have an opinion at all about politics.
I know,
I mean,
just leave it at all.
yeah, sure. Yeah.
I don't think actors should even order their own meals. Who are you? Oh, you know,
No, because I think it's important to nail that, because I mentioned earlier that we're dynamic beings, right? Like
right.
humans are dynamic, and so you and I, if somebody's watching this, let's say from the Midwest or somewhere, that and they're not a pigmented people like us, because I used that phrase before.
Love that
Um,
word. Love it.
um, they're going to put us, we'll be pigeonholed in their minds, like they're going to put us in a certain box, right?
Right.
And
Right.
I cannot be put in a box. I have so many nuances to the way that I think about things, and so do you. You know,
I agree, and I don't want it to be like that. I just happen, I don't know.
no, but I'm saying that because your opinion about actors' opinions resonates significantly with very conservative voices regarding, you know what I mean? And
Right, we
I
did.
think that's fine.
Well, so what I was saying to you the other day was that semi-jokingly felt that I owed Ava Longoria, who I've never met, never worked with, have never heard a bad thing about. And in our industry, in the industry I'm in, if you hear good and bad things about people, and they most of the time are true, because if you hear it a couple times, it's pretty much true.
Right.
Like the Ellen DeGeneres thing, and I'll say it, I don't care. That worst kept secret in Hollywood has been exposed to America for a couple of years now. That was known for a decade.
That's crazy. I
But
can't believe
nobody
it.
said it. Nobody talked about it because you didn't want to lose work. And you didn't want it not only not to work on the Ellen show, but to work on anything that production company did.
Right.
Because they do a lot of shows. And just from me talking about like this, I'll probably get blackballed, but I don't care.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Ava Longoria, I saw this story on her, and I knew she was politically active for years. I've seen her, and I'm, if people at home haven't figured it out, I'm definitely a liberal, but I find myself, the older I'm getting, swaying more to the middle.
Yeah, guys, he showed me a gun the other day.
So. Oh, I'm sorry, say that again. You broke up.
Yeah, guys, he showed me a gun the other day. So
Yeah, that's another. So I saw a story on her, a very well done story, CBS Sunday Morning, and I was like, God damn it. I've been dismissing this person's activism for years because she was a desperate fucking housewife. And which is so not fair. So and then you jokingly said, yeah, you sound Republican. That with that thought, like everyone, the right wing, but still bashes George Clooney, but we don't talk about it. It just occurred to me that back in the 60s and the 70s, and probably even before that, that the right-leaning entertainment people were dominating the news. John Wayne, when Marlon Brando sent, and forgive me, I forgot her name, but when Marlon Brando won an Oscar, I believe for The Godfather, he sent up a representative to deny it for a Native American, and they booed her.
Oh wow.
Oscar. She actually just died last year.
Whoa.
And there was a little bit of a hubbub because the Oscars did not put her in the in memoriam, but they did have a special day for her or something like that. That's how they played it off. But the point being is that the entertainment business and politics have been hand in hand since the beginning. In fact, if you go back to I think it's the Hays Code. The Hays Code is where they got the rating system. So that was all political based. Movies, the content of movies was all political based, political action based. But anyway, we started talking that the Republicans talk about the left leaning, Hollywood elite and all this bullshit, and that's been a really good weapon for them. But then they forget that they are against it. And then when it comes to their convention, they wheel out the few Republicans they can find, like Scott Baio,
Oh boy.
Ted Nugent, those kind of people. You're like, why are you even doing it? Antonio Sabato Jr.
Yeah.
You're just like, wait till you get someone who's won an Oscar.
You know what's so funny is I don't really, I know who Ted Nugent is, but I don't know been seeing many things of him. But Antonio Sabato Jr. and Scott Baio, they're almost like the same type of person. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, no, it's funny. You're right. But it's funny that you mentioned Ted Nugent, and it's another, here's the thing. We talked about being self-aware.
Yeah.
And because of my history with drugs and alcohol, and anyone who tries to get better from that, if there's not a large amount of self-awareness involved in that process, then in my opinion, it probably won't take. So Ted Nugent, I did a show. I'm a heavy metal guy. Ted Nugent's a legendary guitar player, mostly from the 70s. That was his heyday, but still respected. He's probably known now more for his hunting show and his anti-Obama stuff and his anti-Democrat stuff. He was a guest on a music show I was doing. I did a show called That Metal Show, which is no longer on the air, and I loved it. In fact, yeah, there you go.
Wow.
America.
Yeah. All right. Now, guys, we know where he stands now.
So he's one of us.
Yeah.
So I told you. I don't know what accent I'm doing, but anyway, he was a guest on the show, and I was like, fuck me. I think it was like the last couple of years of Obama. And he was bashing Obama anytime anytime he put a camera in front of Ted Nugent's face, he'd say something bad about Obama. And I was like, fuck this. And he couldn't have been nicer. He couldn't have been more professional, more accommodating, but more receptive to the crew. And I was like, God damn it. I've learned again that his politics, I hate him. And I hate I'm not a big into hunting. I get it. I eat meat. I get it. But it was just another lesson learned, and I had to learn it again with Eva Longoria about, just like you said, we're all very complex people with multiple layers. And, the point being is like, God damn it, I can't believe I literally just had to remind myself that I thought I learned this lesson like 8 years ago.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Actually, that's a good point for something else for people just in general to recognize that there's some things like lessons that you learn that you forget. And there's like an operating system. I refer to how we operate as an operating system, just like a computer. That's how I refer to it with my kids. And sometimes they're inputs for your operating system that change your behavior for a small period of time. And then something happens and that piece of the program gets kicked out and you forget about it.
Yeah, we go from self-aware to self-absorbed.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah.
Because I like the way that you worded it. It's funny because I was thinking about this. I think about it all the time, but not only that, about like, that's a rush to judgment. If you're only going to hang out with people who you agree with 1,000%, I mean, that's what, like, I was going to say QAnon, but I don't want them writing letters. But no offense to you. No, but and tell me if this happened to you when you had your first child. And I don't know if we're saying names, but I don't want to say our children's names. But when the little one came into my life, my whole perspective on people, like at work, you've worked with me, but you haven't worked, we didn't work together when I was like in charge.
Right.
And if you get on my bad side, I'm going to rain on you. And that I say that like I'm so cool, but I'm not. I'm an idiot. And rain is whatever. Point being is like, when the little one got into my life, I stopped and thinking like, maybe something's going on in that person's life, right? That crew member's life, maybe, or that crew member probably has a kid. Not that having a kid gets you a pass for everything, but it should. If you're trying your best for that kid, it should give you a bit of a cushion as far as my aggressiveness in my job.
Well, your job, you have to be aggressive. I mean, that's
do.
one of the things I learned from working in the industry years ago. And I got my own. I'm a strong fella, but I'm not a mean person, you know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I learned very quickly that the industry has very abrasive and it's basically a bunch of people with authority that didn't have authority before and now they have it. Not saying that you're one of those people, but and so now they got a bit of power, so they flex that power.
It's people that couldn't be cops.
Yes. So
that's exactly what it is. And send your yes, the law enforcement community, send your cards and letters to Raf. You know where I live.
Well, no, but you just gave him a compliment.
Yeah, but the thing is that because the people we're talking about in our industry just weren't physically capable of passing the police test.
Yes, exactly.
So they're assholes on sets.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm one of the more liked quote unquote leaders, but because of my sense of humor, but it's really, and I have to be constantly remind myself. Actually, on every show I go on, I carry my daughter's monkey with me wherever I go around the world.
Wow.
To remind me to have a physical reminder, not only to like give other people a break, but also to remember why I'm doing this. But to the point, it's like, yeah, the rush to judgment, especially now, like you had mentioned earlier, the way things are, especially with, you might remember this when MTV came out, when MTV first started, when they actually played videos.
Yeah.
People like, and when I say people, there were some doctors and scientists, but there was also like people who make films and saying that the music video was killing the industry, wasn't art, because they were averaging 7-second cuts. Could you imagine 7 seconds now? Seems like an eternity.
Yeah. What do you mean 7-second cuts? Explain that. Oh, you mean cuts within the video, right?
Within. We talked about The Godfather. Those are some long ass scenes.
Yeah.
That's right. So when music videos started, doctors were talking about the attention span.
Right.
Now, a 7-second cut might as well be Lawrence of fucking Arabia.
Great movie, by the way.
Yeah, excellent.
Top 5.
Goddamn good movie.
Yeah.
Damn good
top
movie.
5, maybe my second favorite.
Oh my God, that's such a good movie. Do women like that movie?
No.
Do we like movies that women like? Yes, Notting Hill.
Yeah, that's right. It's not in my top 5 movies, but I like it.
I would say Notting Hill is the Lawrence of Arabia of rom-coms.
What? Yeah, you're probably right.
It's 2 hours shorter.
Yeah. Oh, great movie, man. Jeez.
No, but like the rush to judgment, which I am as guilty as anyone, because as you know, because you've known me, especially before I got clean and sober, that if a person is witty enough, yes, I'm calling myself witty.
No, you're witty.
Or
you're a sharp fella.
But but my wit,
and you
my
cut
wit
with
and
the
my sharpness came from a dark place, though.
yeah. Yeah,
Because I could cut to the quick, and I was really proud of hurting people's feelings like that, and which is,
Are you
I mean,
still like that? No, clean and sober? Like, do you
yeah,
still have that edge about you, or?
fair. I did. Yeah, I mean, the little one in my life is 7, and
Okay.
hopefully I'll hit 20. I was basically the same.
Huh.
Like somebody, in fact, somebody said to me, and this person I was dating said, you know what? I don't like fighting with you. And I go, I don't fight. If I'm wrong, I will tell you, I'm the first one to admit I'm wrong. But if I'm right, I'm going full bore. And she goes, no, that's not why I don't like fighting with you. I don't like fighting with you because you're mean.
Yeah.
And I just went, and I said, you know what? You're fat.
That's good, Ralph. That's so good. That's great. That's literally a stand-up joke right there. That's fantastic.
You're gonna cut it right at that.
No, I'm not. I think there's a few more things we should talk about, but that's great.
Hold on. Do you remember? Hey, this is very. Do you remember when?
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
We were at the Standard, in on the Sunset Strip.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And on the walk there, or the actual Standard, or
No, when we no, wasn't that the bar? No, what was the bar that everyone waited in line for at the hotel?
maybe it was the Standard.
The Sky Bar.
Sky Bar, yes. Oh yes, I do, and I do remember you taking out some knives.
You and
vocal
I,
knives.
you and I, and your lovely wife. You weren't married at the time, I believe. We went and we saw the Lakers Sixers game 1.
The fact that you remember that, I had no idea that
The
even
Sixers won that game. They lost the series 4-1. And then I don't know where we were where we watched the game, but we ended up walking down.
I think we were in Dublin's.
You were right. We were at Dublin's.
Yeah.
So we walked to the Montreal, right? Isn't that where the Sky Bar was? At the Standard or the Montreal? No,
I think Standard, yeah.
So, and that was the hottest bar at the time. And we got right in. I forget why. Maybe there was no line. I don't even know why. And do you remember that I got into it with some chick?
I do.
Because she took my seat when I went to the bathroom.
Yes, I do.
And
yeah, that's what I said. You took out some knives, vocal
knives. Yeah, and she threw a drink in my face. And the waitress whispers to me, "Don't do it, Raf. Don't do it." Like because I was tipping, I was high as a kite, whatever. And I remember to this, it's still. I said, the waitress handed me a towel, and I said, in the morning I'm going to be dry, but you're still going to be fat, ugly, and stupid. And the look on her face.
She was done. She was blasted.
But honestly, even though I was fucked up, and quite frankly, she had it coming. As fucked up as I was not wrong in that situation.
No, you were not
wrong. I've been wrong in billions of situations, but in that particular one, I was not. I still, to this day, and this is what, 30 years later?
Yeah.
I still feel some shame
for
hurting someone like that. But god damn, it was a good line.
It was a great line, and it definitely cut to the core. It was a showstopper, even for the night. Us being up on the top floor, laying out on I think it was like beds or something.
Yeah. Like lounge beds.
Yeah.
And then remember, didn't we get in some gangsters' cars?
No. We did not get in gangsters' cars. Raf got in gangsters' cars inside the 64 Impala with
right. There
with hydraulics.
Lowrider gangbangers, right?
Yes.
What's up?
Yeah, that was a funny night. It's crazy, man. LA used to be different. It's much more fun, I think, back then because first of all, it seems, even though it was coming right off of the violence of the 80s, but people.
I mean, this wasn't too far after Rodney King.
No, it wasn't. But there were still. It's like things were happening where the cars on the street were interacting with people on the sidewalks. That happened quite often. I even did that in South Central when I first came here, stupidly, but I did do that. And unfortunately, that kind of stuff doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Man, God damn, I miss cocaine.
Oh boy,
I'm sorry, what?
that's
What?
another that's
That's where we'll
another cocaine episode. Episode number
okay,
34, cocaine. Let me just go over a couple things.
go over it.
Just to
So we
circle
can
back.
yeah,
I just
so
want to
we're
say
gonna
this
have to
on
wrap
the
this up.
air. You said something about wearing black in the very beginning of the episode.
Yes, because I feel that the black wardrobe community is not represented in Hollywood.
Right. And I just want to put this on record. You were the first person's bedroom that I entered that was all black. And I got to tell you, my wife and I were thoroughly shocked. I mean, shocked. Not only was the room black, but there was also a waterbed.
Hold on. It was a waterbed frame, but it was a mattress.
No.
I didn't have a waterbed.
Yes, you did. The fact that you don't.
I had the frame, but not the waterbed. Trust me.
You had the water, my friend. Maybe you just got it, because it was the first time my wife and I ever slept on a waterbed, and it was weird.
Oh no, wait. No, there was a waterbed in the guest room.
Oh, so maybe it was the guest room, but either way, it was a black room.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did. I had a black room. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So
I had black drapes. Like
it was when I say black room, I don't mean like, oh, the walls are so cool in black. No, I'm talking about the whole room. Everything but the bathroom was black. Everything. And I just remember thinking, like, what the hell is going on in this room? And nowadays black rooms are cool, but this was in the 90s, which black rooms were like, you were very outside the norm with the black room back then. You were ahead of your time, or ahead of the time.
I wanted a room to show what was inside of me.
Yeah, and we don't have to talk about it this episode, but I do think we should talk about in the future, because we have, what time is it? We've gone almost 2 hours.
Yeah, we've gone 2 hours.
We should talk about actors' opinions maybe we should talk about it now. I just want to put it out there.
Yeah, we can wrap up with actors' opinions.
Yeah, I feel like everybody deserves an opinion, and this is not an inclusion sort of statement. What I mean by this is, I do think that some actors don't have life experience. I think it's really true that when people become successful and they make a bunch of money, they sort of pause in their maturity level. And I think that is why a lot of actors, and also rich kids or rich people's kids, aren't able to deal with the world. It's because wherever they have recognized that they got money, they stop maturing. And what happens when that happens to an actor is they're not able to look at a political situation and make the appropriate choice, because they don't have enough life experience. They don't have enough foundational information. They don't even have enough knowledge to make their choices, make any sort of political choices. However, there are people that are actors that have spent time building businesses, becoming entrepreneurs, running businesses, dealing with people, dealing in the community service, dealing with people, and they sort of learn what it is to be a person in society, and what's good and what's bad. It doesn't mean that their opinions are right, but I think they definitely do deserve an opinion. Not all of them, but I do think that.
No, I mean, like you say, everyone has the right to an opinion. It's just some should be
swept under the
taken
rug.
more seriously, I guess. Is what you're saying. But couldn't you say that about any profession, right? Because there are plenty of politicians who don't have real life experience, and they're the ones
totally, absolutely.
They're the ones making the decisions for real life situations.
I actually think if you sat down with 90% of the politicians and And 90% of the politicians aren't qualified to be making the decisions that they're making because of the way you just said, life experience, even intellectual aptitude, I think.
Oh, absolutely. If you just to have a broad life, an openness to a broad spectrum of life.
Yeah.
But I think actors get the worst, including by me, a liberal in the business. Actors get the worst judgment, I think.
Well, but you're an actor.
Oh,
Hey,
I don't.
hey man, did you kill any babies?
No, first of all, it's, hey man, how many babies did you kill?
Oh, right. Yeah,
All right, because I'm not going to let you.
Yeah,
Because that's art. I'm not going to let you paint
that was art. You did a great job. Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot. I forgot you knew about that. We're not even going to mention it. And if anyone watches this and they look it up, you can send me a card or letter, self-addressed stamped envelope for the transfer.
At some point, I'm gonna hire somebody to edit these, and we'll edit a clip with.
Play the clip.
Yeah, I think that'll be good.
I mean, I'm telling you, man, I was good.
You were good, actually. You relayed the sentiment.
No, yeah, I guess it's just maybe. I know. Do you think we're like, maybe I can only speak for myself that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna listen to someone's, political opinion of someone who pretends for a living. I don't know, because do we ever say that about musicians? Do we ever say like, oh, I don't want to hear what this musician's opinion is about politics because they're a musician.
I think certain people do. I think
a lot of the musicians' art, though, within the body of their work is political.
Yeah.
Also, maybe they get a not a pass, but a little bit more respect because of that. I don't know. It's like if oh well, I mean, that's not true. Like, for example, if Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam, who's very politically active, nobody says he's full of shit. But if Miley Cyrus went up there and said the same thing, I'd be like, why the fuck am I listening to Miley Cyrus?
Well, that's because you're a rocker.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
She doesn't make it through the filter. She doesn't make it through the filter.
But that's wrong, though. I mean, we should not, yes, everyone should judge people based on really what they're saying and doing, as opposed to what they think they're saying and doing.
Yeah, well, that would be a revelation for a society.
I mean, I guess that's been the problem with society since the beginning of time.
Yeah, I mean, if we took that particular statement and applied it to all of the politicians, my goodness, we'd have to get some new ones.
My God, dude! This morning I was listening to they were talking to a spokesperson for the White House because Biden yesterday made a presidential proclamation, or whatever they're called, and which they broke it down legally, holds no weight. And I'm not saying that because it's Biden, but any presidential, all these, it's not called a proclamation.
Yeah,
whatever
it's called what is it called?
Presidential order. Is that what it is?
It's they were whining about Obama doing a bunch of them.
Yeah, and Trump didn't. I'm declaring a president. I can't. And I hate that I don't know the term, but all it is emphasizing what is already in law, a law. It's not adding. It's saying, okay, you know what? Now we're really going to focus on this law we passed like 10 years ago, and it's putting more emphasis and pressure at that moment on laws that are already on the books.
I can't remember what it is either.
Oh, we got yeah, God damn it. But if you could put a lower third, morons. Because right now, if we're lucky enough and someone's listening and watching, they're yelling at us saying what it is. Because that's what I do. It's not a problem. My God. But anyway, they hold no weight. They hold no weight whatsoever. And when they were interviewing somebody from the White House and they brought that up, well, aren't you just emphasizing some laws that should have been already, emphasized? And the answer, I stood there and I realized, I was like, I don't know right now if a Republican or a Democrat are talking, because it's just the same verbiage from everybody.
Oh, dude, it's
it's not a revelation to you. It's probably not a revelation, but I'm assuming that the people that will be interested in anything we have to say are very similar to us. But when it was this light where I was just like, God, politically, our country, everyone's just full of shit. You're allowed to be so full of shit that you can lie about that your family was killed by the Nazis, that you graduated from a certain college, that you worked at a certain firm, that you lost people in a certain mass shooting. And if you haven't figured it out at home, I'm talking about George Santos over there, everybody, who has literally lied about everything, but is still a United States representative.
Yeah. Well, even your president lied about graduating at the top of his class.
You're talking about the guy from Mexico?
No, that's good though. That's a good one. I think those awards that you were talking about earlier are called the Goya Awards. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I am not talking about a manufacturer of Hispanic foods. The Goya Awards?
I'm pretty sure that's it. Maybe that's what they're called in Spain.
Goya is the name of the company that mass produces Latin themed foods. You wouldn't know that. There's not a lot of Goya on the West Coast.
Excuse me. The Goya Awards are GOYA Awards are Spain's main national film awards. But that's you guys are Mexican because you're not Spain.
First of all, you're talking about the Spain Awards. No, I want there's a Mexican American. I was going to say NAMBLA, but that's North American Man Boy Love Association.
Oh my God, dude! I told my kids, my family one time, because we have a lot of family discussions about the times that Howard Stern used to call them and leave messages. Did you ever watch that?
No.
It's hilarious. And some very cheery fellow would answer the answering service.
That is
there is a number for them overseas, and they had the number and they would just call and leave messages.
Oh, so it was overseas.
Yeah.
Overseas, not seeds. I'm sorry, I'm trying to look up these, not the Latin American Music Awards, because that's literally just Daddy Yankee and Bad Bunny. No, I'm kidding, everybody. Don't send me. I can't. It's the equivalent of the God.
What is the Mexican version? It's Ariel?
AMBLA, I think it's
not Area. AMBLA.
Oh my God, I just saw the show. Like, it's a syndicated award show. Jimmy Smits is usually there. Ava Longoria. Then we start running out of people.
Oh well, we can't. We can't find it. We'll have to. We'll circle back to that, guys, in the next episode.
Yeah, no. I mean, the point being is like, I guess I need to learn to judge people by what they actually say and not what I think they do. Like, oh, well, we'll save this for another topic. Can you separate the artist from the person?
Well, I think you can.
You think I can personally?
And so I think. Listen, I think
that's part of the Chris Rock special.
Oh, is it?
That was a very interesting point that he brought up. The R. Kelly Michael Jackson thing.
I don't remember that part. Tell me, and then I'll refresh.
Well, I think basically the whole theme of the special, wasn't it like? It
was something outrage.
Yeah, like
selective outrage.
Selective outrage.
Yeah.
which is fantastic because I mean, on the surface, just that term, you're calling out the hypocrisy, even of the people who call out other people's hypocrisy.
Yeah.
And we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
But he brought up like that. He's like, nobody will listen to R. Kelly, but everyone will listen to Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
You got to be starting something. You'll play. Every party will have. You got to be starting something, but it won't. And then he mentioned some famous R. Kelly song, which is totally true.
Well, yeah, I had a problem with that bit. That's why I didn't remember it. I discounted it as soon as I heard it. Number one, because there's no evidence for Michael Jackson, and there's
agreed. As far as like
tons of evidence for, and I get why he used Michael Jackson because it's super prevalent,
right?
Star in somebody's mind, but I didn't appreciate that actually.
Because it
validates these ideas that they said
he was never convicted in a court of law.
Well, it's not so much even convicted. Like if you actually read what happened in the court of law, if you read the evidence that they didn't have any evidence. There's no evidence. It's all just. I'm not saying the kids didn't stay at his house, and I'm not saying it's not weird. Maybe it is weird. I'm not even saying it didn't happen. But what I'm saying is that there is no evidence that it did happen. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I totally agree. Dude, I used to, I worked on at E! Television. I worked on the roundtable panel discussion show that would discuss the Michael Jackson court, the stuff that happened that week.
Okay.
Michael Jackson was in trial in Santa Barbara.
Interesting.
Now, I don't know if you remember, but E! did a reenactment
of... I do sort of remember that, yeah.
Okay, well, I worked on the Italian and the French panel version of that show where they would dub the reenactment. That's
crazy.
Amazing. And but listen, he was never convicted of anything. Weird, yeah, but I mean, hell, if we're gonna do that, I do what I personally think doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, I mean, I think it does matter for this show, but
I mean, do I think he did something that wrong? Yes, I do. Do I love Off the Wall? Absolutely. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. But do I feel a little hypocritical? Yes, I do. But
yeah, see, I don't because I don't. I mean, maybe you know something that I don't know. And obviously I didn't comb through all the information.
Listen, I can only tell you from an insider from working on the French and Italian version of it, Derrec.
Right.
So I got a lot of right there. But I will tell you, based on the same topic, I worked with somebody, a famous dude, who was a complete fucking asshole.
Okay.
And in about 3 years ago.
Okay.
I was stage managing his pet project, and this fucker had no idea what stage managers do. He's a fucking asshole. It came out recently in the last year that he's also, a scumbag, and people have complained about him as far as he's cheated on his wife with interns and that kind of shit. Now I can't watch. He's in one of my favorite movies of all time, and I can't watch the fucking movie. And
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Well, I still
don't say his name.
I got to work in this industry, but Fred Savage, you can go fuck yourself. And every bad thing that happens to you, you deserve, you piece of fucking shit.
Whoa, wait. Fred Savage, isn't he?
He's an asshole. He's another.
He had a wife?
He's married, has kids, and I don't know them, and I feel bad for them.
I thought Fred Savage. See, I'm so out of it here.
No, but he's directed a lot in the last few years. He's a fucking dick. And I will stand by it. Send your cards and letters to Raf and Derrec.
Is he really?
Dick. So I love The Princess Bride. I can't even watch what he's done as a child yet.
Wow.
I'll probably get past it eventually.
Huh. Okay. I thought Fred Savage was I didn't know he was straight or that he had a wife.
Yeah, but he's an asshole.
Wow. I
Yeah.
don't get it, man. I really don't. I mean, listen, I I don't get it. I don't understand why those people have to be not nice.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess to be fair, I'm sure there's plenty of people who don't think I'm nice and they can't watch my movies.
Is he short?
Yeah, I wouldn't say any. I mean, he's not taller than I am, but I'm not tall by any means. I don't remember,
I'm
but
just trying to figure out like why he's not a nice person.
I don't know. He just thinks he's probably his whole life people have not told him no.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right, let's see if we got
But
anything else. Go ahead.
no, when we um the the Michael Jackson R. Kelly thing, it's can we I don't know, it's funny, you they say don't meet your heroes, but in the business that you and I met, if you meet somebody and they're a jerk, I can't compartmentalize. Like I'll go, oh Jesus, and I probably won't go to their movies or see their TV shows.
I will say this. Here's something that I think about that. So I met Shannon Doherty years ago. I worked on a movie with her, like not a movie, a TV show.
She was at
And
Andy's house all the time.
who's
Remember Andy?
Andy?
Andy, a little blonde, short hair, lived up in the Hollywood Hills by the Hollywood sign. We'd have parties there all the time.
I don't think I
You
went
were
there.
part of that.
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
because she was Janie's friend. We were all
Oh,
doing Shannon
maybe.
Doherty was in the Drive-In Classic.
Yeah. So anyway, I suppose that's where I met her then.
Yeah, I think that's where you met her
Yeah.
because we partied up there.
Um
Well, I partied
every
in Grove.
yes. Especially back then. Um she had a bad reputation. Everybody hated her, but she was extremely nice to me.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
I had nothing but pleasant experiences. Both, you know what? I didn't actually work on that episode. I was gone from the series at that time, but I would see her often at Andy's, and I'm glad we're not saying any last names.
Yeah.
But and it wasn't like it was, it wasn't a debauchery type thing. It was just she was always nice.
Yeah, always nice. I mean, the my very first interaction with her, to be fair to the people that said she wasn't nice, my very first interaction was she wasn't nice, and I wasn't nice, and in return to her not in response to her not being nice, and from that moment on, we were like best friends. And I'm sure she doesn't remember this. If she ever sees this, she's like, "Who the hell is this guy?" Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure.
But the truth of the matter is, after that moment, she was great. And so I say all that to say that it's very likely that a lot of times people are just misunderstood, and they also the people on the recipients of those bad attitudes, maybe they don't know how to deal with it. And there's a lot of power in a bad attitude. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, we should get into that because it's I mean, you think about famous people, and like every single person that they are in contact with, whether and if it's just walking through an airport or you happen to be in the same restaurant, if you don't give that person what they want or feel they're entitled to, that's a person who's going to go, oh, that so and so's a jerk,
Yeah.
so and so's an a-hole, and it's not fair at all. It's not. And listen, a lot of them are jerks.
Yeah.
So are a lot of non-famous people.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you can't. You listen. You're never right. And I have to remind myself too. It's like there's going to be crew members who don't like me.
Yeah.
That's fine. Because not everyone's going to be liked by everybody. It's just not possible.
I don't like people in general, but I like most people. That's an interesting statement, I know. But
I think you're open to liking anyone.
Yes, I am.
But you're also very good at reading people.
Yes.
And
yes.
What do they say? The older you get, the less friends you have, because you have less bullshit time.
Yeah, well, growing up a shy person, it helps you read people for sure.
Well, absolutely on your end. And growing up an angry person, you just don't care about reading people.
Well, I was both angry as well.
Oh my God, we gotta get that.
So we shouldn't do this episode. I mean, we could, but we still need to talk about. Probably we'll save it for the next episode because I think it'll be more interesting. We need to talk about those cities, the city I most recently visited.
Oh yes, yes.
And,
we do. That was one of them.
Yeah.
The world's biggest escape room. Oh, which based, and also there's a topic that we got to talk about. So maybe we got to do it sooner than later. And I don't want to get into it because we will. But the four Americans who went to Mexico on the like people.
Let's just talk about it. Hold on,
because it's gonna take too long, dude. It's 9:30 where I'm at.
Okay, all right. You old people, I tell you.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, Denny's explosion. No, but the shit that went down in Matamoros, right? The four Americans who in thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Mexico is the second biggest destination for what they call medical vacations
procedures.
Or medical. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, but there's a term for it.
I get it. Yeah.
And Mexico is the second biggest country where people travel to either get cheap medicine or surgeries, right? I think I want to say the Philippines is the other one, but
I thought it was Brazil.
Oh, but possibly.
But it could be
But so these four, in God, just a horrible situation. Nobody deserves that. But when you go to a place that the federal government has said is that it's like at the top level of places you should not travel to, that's a lawless land. And you get it, no one deserves it, but you shouldn't be surprised if you go into the lion's den. Don't be surprised if you get attacked by a lion.
Yeah.
Horrible thing. I'm not saying they deserved it, but America has lost their shit about gun violence in Mexico.
Oh, have they?
Not about
violence. I didn't know this.
They're saying that the army needs to go in. Who we kidding? The right wing. There's a small group of people who is going to become bigger who want to send the army into Mexico to fight the cartels because they've killed Americans.
Wow, they're considered those people Americans. That's a big step forward.
Well, let's not get that's a whole other thing. Well, now they do. It's funny. They consider them Americans when they get killed in another country. They don't consider them Americans when they get killed in this country by law enforcement.
Well, come on. Let's not say that.
Nobody. Well, I'll say it.
Come on. They of course they do. Oh, they love those people.
Oh yeah. Meanwhile, nobody's up in arms about gun violence when a white dude shoots up an El Paso Target to kill people who look like me.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it is past 9:30 on the East Coast, and we have
where's that anger?
We have decided to go down the road of racism.
Mexico is like, there's too much crime and violence. Oh, the violence in Mexico is ruining America. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's true. I gotta say, just briefly, Mexico is awesome.
Mexico is awesome. Do you know we do $1 billion of trade a day between Mexico and the United States?
Is it in cocaine?
No, they're not even counting that stuff. And by the way, Coke is so last year. It's
Oh,
fentanyl.
is it? Oh,
Fentanyl.
wait a minute. People are using fentanyl, or is it just laced with fentanyl?
Whatever, potato. Oh wait, actually, there was
Are you going to talk about that
uh,
video? Oh no.
no, they they broke down the chemical compounds of like 10 different oxy prescriptions that people picked up in Mexico, and I think
Okay.
8 of them had fentanyl in it.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was something that high.
That's
Now,
scary,
not
because
the
fentanyl is like dangerous.
and I still don't get. Thank God on many levels. Thank God I don't use anymore, and God willing, I never will. But the fact that everything seems to have fentanyl in it. Oh my God, you're just playing like, hey,
That's Russian roulette.
I'm gonna go get a half gram of Coke. Yeah, no big deal. We're partying tonight. We're going to, we're gonna go see fucking Wham. It's an 80s reference, everybody.
Yeah.
Um, oh wait, there's some better than like 1 in 10 chance that there's gonna be fentanyl in it. And that,
Yeah. What do you do in that situation?
and then you might die.
Yeah. So as a former user, what choices do you make? Like, do you, because
You,
things
you,
were that you had, I mean, it wasn't as prevalent
you,
back
you
then.
only buy from someone you know.
Okay, okay. But
But
you still run it's still
yeah, what
possible.
do you think that dealer is out there going, you know what? I should really worry about the people I sell Coke to. No.
No, I know he's not worried, but I just wonder like what the mentality is like when you, so first of all, the night, it's the middle of the night, and we got to get what we got to get. You know what I mean? And
Oh, I
you've
read
already
that.
been using for most of the night, and we got to get that last one. So you just take the chance, right?
You just don't. I mean, but that's the point, is back when I was partying, like, dude, I'm not, let me put a disclaimer, not a disclaimer. I'm not bragging.
Yeah, I know.
There's this, it's another topic we can get into when we do my 20th anniversary special, but I used to really, it was just my own problem, but I'd be in AA meetings and I would think, oh, people are just telling these glory stories. They're bragging. I'm not bragging in any way, shape, or form. I'm fucking ashamed. But I would do lines that strangers offered me at the forum when I'd go see Motley Crue.
Right, right.
I did
Yeah,
lines in Hollywood, in the clubs
yeah,
that we were going to, with any stranger.
yeah, yeah. And that's
Anybody.
still happening. That's still happening.
But back then, listen, you had your own. There was another whole group, especially you were coming out of AIDS was still a big deal.
Right.
People were, overdosing a bit, but there wasn't fentanyl.
Yeah.
There wasn't fentanyl in everything.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It like, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. By the way, I still know my dealer's number, his pager number.
That's
That's
scary. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, last note. I want to get your take on this. It has something to do with fentanyl. Mexico City, went to this great restaurant. We're talking, I wouldn't say Michelin star, but we're talking, if we went to this restaurant in America, it'd be $400 for 2 people, right? Which is, for me, is expensive, right?
no,
So,
even for
um,
rich people, that's expensive.
so nowhere near that in terms of what it costs us to go to the restaurant. Anyway, we go to the restaurant, we have some drinks, we eat. Then I get home. I don't know why hold on, sorry.
You all right? Allergies?
I think I have a cold. Anyway, I get home, and so actually that's the second time we go to the restaurant because it's so amazing that we decide to go back the next day. But the next day the service is completely different. It's like taking forever to get the food, and I have to go to the bar to order drinks. So I do that, and then they sort of get like upset with me because I went to the bar, got drinks, they had to transfer the thing over to the table. Um that night, I lay down to go to sleep, and my heart rate is at like 100. And Normally my heart rate's around 60, 62. And I'm like, what the hell? So this lasted for most of the night until like 4 o'clock in the morning. And my heart rate stayed at that rate for like the next maybe day. So maybe not a day, but maybe next 12 hours or so. And I told Yesenia, I said, man, I feel like they lace my food or something. I feel like they put something in my either in my drink or my food because this is like unusual. Thoughts?
Well, so you didn't feel like this until you got back to the hotel.
Well, we had been drinking so whatever so for me, much like what I've read in with alcoholics, when you drink, it's an upper for you versus a downer for a lot of
Physically, yeah. Like from alcohol is a depressant. So as far as like in your brain,
alcohol is a depressant, but
but no, but physically, yeah, it's a stimulant.
it's
Especially, and plus it like say you do vodka Red Bull, you're gonna
yeah, I don't do vodka Red Bull.
no, I don't think you
I
do.
don't need to because that's what I'm saying. It's a
Well, yeah,
stimulant.
but did you drink more than you usually?
No, I drink less.
Well,
So
my opinion, not
yeah,
necessarily, nothing would surprise me.
yeah.
Now, if the restaurant got pissed off at you for going to the bar, and nothing, when people talk about, like, if somebody tells me they think they may have been, drugged, that would not surprise me at all because just people are fucking evil.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there is no end game to it. I don't know why anyone would do it, unless you were going to roll them in the parking lot. But no, I mean, no, seriously, it's like I'm pissed off at this American tourist for going to the bar. I'm going to put something in his food, and then you don't get the payoff.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? But
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
well, no, I'm not saying it didn't happen though,
No, but
because
I like the fact that see that that's interesting that you thinking like that, you know that that person would require and want the payoff most likely.
yeah,
Whereas for me, if I wouldn't do something like that. But if I was to do it, it would be enough for me to just know it that it happened versus worrying about what it looked like once it happened. You know what I mean?
yeah. So to both
Interesting.
our points, it wouldn't surprise me at all if that's what happened.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sorry
anyway.
to
Oh, it's okay. So as long as I didn't die.
Hey, first of all, I told you, you'd never go twice to El Torito. All right.
Oh man. But anything else?
A lot on the next one. All right,
Yeah.
but hold on, I'll just read off my list. Uh, let's see. Oh, unless you're in grade school, you should not be allowed out in public in pajamas.
Agreed. Yeah, this is a new society. Damn, we're getting old.
No, I am old, and I get. And you know what? If this is what old people
I'll
say,
take it.
I'll take it. Because fuck you and your pajama wearing public.
They're not even nice pajamas either.
No, they're not. And like, no. Oh,
Yeah.
you're clothes shaming us.
Oh
Yes,
God.
I
Yeah.
am. I'm clothes shaming you.
Oh,
Let's see. The least threatening. Just laughing at what I wrote. I wrote this during the holidays. Hallmark/Lifetime holiday movies and the least threatening Latino, according to my white people poll, is Mario Lopez. Okay.
hey man.
I refuse to do emojis. I will write happy face emoji in letter. I'm not sending you this. Let's see. Now we talked with the profile thing, that's the dating one. Somebody suing Kraft mac and cheese because there's not enough cheese in it.
I'm gonna cut this out.
Yeah, okay. Miracle Whip. I'm just fascinated. Coffee art shop. I'm sorry, coffee shop art. Does anyone buy it?
That's a great freaking question because I've thought of it many times.
And they're like, you go, oh, that's not bad. I'm sorry, $250? No, go fuck yourself.
No, it's bad. When you see the price, it's bad, actually.
Yeah, you're like, oh, what?
Yeah, it's not worth $250.
I think I told you once when we talked on the phone not too long ago. I heard a story about Barbra Streisand, and I really liked it.
The story or Barbra Streisand?
Both. I'm
Oh
so
my
fucked.
God.
I'm so
Yeah,
fucked.
because I have another
Like,
friend who says she has one of the greatest voices of all time. And I
I'm
almost
not
passed
saying
out.
that, but I'm like, you know what? You know, I don't think I'm giving Barbra Streisand enough of a listen.
Hey,
The
man, she's got talent. What are you gonna do?
well, yeah. And the older I get, the more I like Bruce Springsteen.
Oh my goodness. Well,
the
ladies
more,
and gentlemen, that'll about wrap it up.
the more I want to kick my own ass.
You know what's so funny about this is, man, you're gonna pick up a whole constituency that you didn't expect to pick up just from your. There's a lot of interesting little beliefs
Dude,
systems that you have that are aligned with a certain group of people, which I think is great.
look at I wrote here because I did something for Ava. I go, oh, I went back to Michael's and liked it.
Michael's is cool.
Like, I'll just walk around Michael's and I'm like, oh, yeah.
You know what? Go ahead.
Scrapbook.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, oh, that would be cool. Like, yeah. Oh, I like that. Oh, yeah. I could. A nice flower arrangement would go great with that.
Yeah. Well, and then we didn't even talk about my wholesale florist days.
I saw a movie a long time ago. It was based in Mexico. They were showing where roses come from, and the basically in some part of Mexico they grow the roses, and they show it's like just fields and fields and fields of roses, and they pick them at a certain time, and they have everything is time based. Like, they pick the roses, they have to be wrapped up, they have to be put on ice, have to be put in a freezer, they have to be put on trucks. But the work itself is, you can imagine, would be just similar to picking cotton, if you will. You know what I mean? But the amount of roses that they pick is insane. And that's the first time I really got. No, it's a segment in a movie, because one of the girls in the movie, I think eventually becomes the work is so hard. I think a drug dealer approaches her to cross the border with drugs. I think it was, yeah. But anyway, they highlighted just a little bit of the industry, of the flower industry, but coming from the perspective of where they manufacture, if you will, if you want to call it that.
That's
Harvest.
interesting. Yeah. Wow, man. There's a lot. There's so many subcultures. Just a beautiful world. I mean, in that sense. Well, all right, friend. Let's talk the next couple days. All right,
I'm sure this is past your bad time.
Let's talk in a couple days.
Okay.
All right, brother. Say hi to you for me.
Will do.
All right, talk to you later.
All right, thanks. Bye.